this is embarrassing, by the way, but he touched on that first play. So the Browns were one play, 24 yards, first drive touchdown. Okay. The next 30 plays, they had 25 yards.
Yeah.
Inept on offense. We have a worse offense than the Carolina Panthers.
We do now.
Yes, we do now.
Who I don't know if you heard, they just benched their quarterback. Welcome, Mike Dane, YouTube Dog Pack. I always forget to mention that. So the fact that anybody joined, thank you. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's awful. In terms of the medical stuff, I feel like I've been saying basically since year one of this podcast that the Browns, I have a tough time blaming a medical staff on injuries because it's a contact game. People's bodies are different and all that good stuff. But at the same time, we're clearly not doing something right in terms of how we attack strength and conditioning and rehab and all that good stuff, because it is unreal how many injuries the Browns have every single year. And I don't know if there's a way to look it up. I said this in our text the other day, the Browns have to lead the lead in the last decade in hamstring injuries. I don't know if I've ever seen a team have so many hamstring injuries. When Jack Conklin gets ruled out the day before with a hamstring injury, like how is this possible?
During a walkthrough?
A walkthrough.
During a walkthrough? Like, do we not stretch? Do we not rehab? Do we not do preventative things to make sure the body, what? I just don't understand, because again, I understand injuries happen. It's a contact sport. These guys are like physical specimens and they got fast twitch muscle fibers and things are moving and they're big guys and all that stuff. But man, there's a lot of teams that don't deal with the amount of injuries that we deal with on a consistent basis. And I feel like you can break it down into like 3 categories. It's always the same injury. The hamstring one is crazy. How many hamstring injuries we have. It's unbelievable.
It really is.
Just to touch on the injury thing, like when you were saying about conditioning. Sorry, my voice is completely shot, by the way, from yesterday. But
from booing,
yeah, I did try to get loud in the fourth, real serious. But if it's a conditioning thing, like if we're worried about protecting the health in preseason and like leading up to the regular season, like for me, I'm looking at it and going, not only are we missing chemistry on the field, I think, as far as the team, but also like, is this part of it also? Like, were we not game ready? Are we not game shape? We sure as hell didn't look in game shape week 1. You know what I mean? So the Conklin thing, I think maybe it was just trying to get back onto the field. He literally just got back, and losing him in a walkthrough the day before the game was devastating, especially seeing now with the results of the game. You're like, oh my God, we were tissue paper out there, the low line. But, I do think that maybe there's something there. You know what I mean? If it means the guys aren't ready to go as far as their body, and they're like, I think guys kind of need to get hit a little bit just before you roll them out week 1 and let them go full 100%. So I think you're right. I think there is something there 100%.
Was that you who said today, like, it's like trying to run a marathon without training or something?
I don't know, maybe.
Sure.
If it sounds smart, it sounds like something I'd say.
Okay, I couldn't remember who said it today, but I was like, yeah, that's a good point. Like when they roll these guys out there week 1, full go, 100% speed and everything at the NFL level, it's like, you're not ready for this. Your body's it is not conditioned, and we're seeing it. Like and you've said it a lot here. I think our offensive line is old. Just old.
Obviously Bitonio is old.
Yes.
Okay. The offensive line is an issue. And then to move on to the second voicemail in terms of where do we think, like, would it help if Ken Dorsey called plays? I don't know, because
is it still the same offense?
Is it still? Yeah. And here's the thing, in terms of ranking issues, obviously the offensive line is an issue. They're turnstiles out there. DeJuan Jones put together one of the worst football games I've ever seen from a professional football player in terms of a line play. He might as well just not have been out there. It was awful. That being said, I said this today. It's on the quarterback. It's on the quarterback, because Kevin Stefanski we couldn't run the ball last year. We had a banged up, awful offensive line the last 10 games last year. Okay. We couldn't run the ball. I mean, what was our yards per carry last year after Chubb went down? Like 2, yards over expected or something. Jerome Ford was in the negatives last year.
Yeah. Negative 0.02.
Okay. So we had virtually the same wide receivers. We're technically better at wide receiver this year in terms of we added Jerry Jeudy. Okay. Yeah. So what's the difference? It's the quarterback. And then you can say in the offensive philosophy. Last year, it was play actions, boots, run fakes, getting Joe Flacco on rollouts, all that good stuff. It was a Kevin Stefanski offense. And yes, we've talked about this a million times. Like, I don't think Joe Flacco is the answer for the Browns, and he threw a ton of picks. But the offense didn't look incompetent in terms, like, we moved the ball. And we moved the ball with a whole bunch of backups, hurt guys, a 40-year-old quarterback off the couch, the same receivers we have this year minus Jerry Jeudy. But we put up points. We were pretty explosive. We were mistake prone because of all the things I just mentioned, but we didn't look incompetent in terms of the offense. This is the worst offense the Browns have had in. Statistically, we've never had one. We went 1-31, and that offense was better than this offense. The difference is the quarterback, and they're saying, "Well, we're not running the ball. We're not." I know. That was the point of this year. That's why we don't have our old offensive coordinator. What was his Van Pelt?
Yep.
That's why we have Ken Dorsey. The problem is we went out and we hired all these offensive guys, and we hired Ken Dorsey to come in and tailor an offense around Deshaun Watson, so he could take us to the next level. I don't think he's good enough to do that. We tailored an offense for a guy who's not good enough to run that offense. And we said it all offseason, at least I did, was this team will go as far as Deshaun. It doesn't matter how good our defense is, how good anything is. This team will go as far as Deshaun Watson takes us. And right now, Deshaun Watson is a bottom 3 to 5 quarterback, and we are a bottom 2 offense. It's right there. It's facts. You can say yes, the offensive line doesn't pass block that well. He's supposed to be good enough to make up for that. We are not leaving running backs in to help chip. We're not leaving tight ends in to help chip. We're not getting them out on the perimeter. Yeah, because he's not good at that. We build an offense. All we heard all offseason was, we got to let him play. Kevin's got him under center, doing all this stuff. We got to build this offense. Let Deshaun cook, go out there, let him play. So we did it, and he's not good enough to do it. And this is what we're seeing. And I don't think it gets better. I think this is, this is basically, you might see flashes like we saw against Jacksonville. Jacksonville's a bad team, okay, but to consistently do it, I just really don't think consistently it's there. That's not the style of team. First of all, this offensive line's getting older, and then they're not a pass blocking team. They were built on the concept. They're run blockers, maulers, Nick Chubb, play action boot. So we tailored an offense to a guy like Deshaun. We don't have any difference makers on offense. We don't have a Malik Neighbors. Okay. We don't have anybody with any top end speed like that. Like Amari Cooper is a very good wide receiver, but he's not explosive in terms of like, you just fear this guy. You just put this guy out there, and if he's one-on-one, it's game over. He's getting 19 targets. Okay. Yeah. We don't have anybody like that. Deshaun's supposed to be able to elevate these guys. This is supposed to be a wide receiver group that is plenty good enough that if you have a top 5 QB, they're pretty darn good. We're making all these arguments of like, well, the line's not doing great. We don't have any speed on the outside. We sound like we're defending why Baker's not playing well. Well, you know what I mean? We used to say, well, you're never going to win in the NFL if you got to have a top 3 offensive line, 2 number 1 wide receivers, a top 3 tight end. You know, that's just not feasible. Now people are trying to make all the same arguments for the Deshaun. We've just gone in circles. And I defended Deshaun. First of all, and even though I am saying this, I still think it was the right move to try to get him because we had to try something. But it's clear to me that this isn't it. It's clear to me.
I'll let you talk here. So I don't disagree. I don't disagree one bit. But being on social media and stuff, which was probably mistake number 1 the last day or 24 hours. But it seems like everybody wants to lump. They want to find one person to blame. And I get, like, Deshaun didn't play well at all yesterday. This whole offense sucks. They suck. There's so many people, oh, we should have kept Flacco. Oh, we need Jameis. Oh, we should have kept Baker. Oh, we should go trade for this guy. Oh, we should sign this guy. Tannehill. I'm sorry. Who's executing any sort of competent offense behind this offensive line? I mean, this is not a defending anybody. This is a blame all around situation. Because 36 on 36 plays, the Giants brought pressure. On 24 of those, we allowed the pressure. 8 sacks. 8 sacks is the most the New York Giants have had in a game in over a decade.
They only had, I want to say, 5 or 6 coming into this game.
What the hell? Are you serious?
My pushback is our offensive line at the last 8 games last year was arguably worse. And we didn't give up these sacks. So much of this, I was texting you guys this. Deshaun's been blitzed like 60-some times. Yes. You know why? Because teams know they're not afraid of him. I don't know if he knows anything pre-snap. They're blitz. He's been blitzed 60-some times. Have we seen him make one check at the line? One audible? This is an offense tailored to him, supposedly. He's supposed to be the master of it. There's no pre-snap anything. It was full apparent on the RPO on 4th down. He pulls it, and they cut Judy off, and he just panics. If he is watching anything, he has to know, like, okay, RPO, I've got Judy coming across. If this guy cuts off Judy, that means Akins is wide open. Jordan Akins is still open.
Yeah.
Right now. I don't think he doesn't see anything. I don't know if he knows how to read a defense. Every game I watch him play, the more and more I think it is he just used to run around and just play backyard football when they were losing.
I also think that there's some truth to whatever somebody said. Gosh, I'm sorry. If you're out there, remind me who it was. On after the Cowboys, our first live, they said it's like after Tiger Woods had his whole off the field situation and then his career was just, he just couldn't do it anymore. It destroyed him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's like, looking similar.
You couldn't blitz Flacco last year because he'd just burn you. This guy's blitz on, just hit this guy quick and we'll score an 80-yard like to David Bell. Yeah, against Jacksonville. that kind of thing. Like, so yes, there are problems. We're not blocking well. We're not doing this, but that's because this offense is built for this one guy. This one guy is supposed to be the cog in the machine that makes all this stuff okay. And he's so deficient that it's just making it all crumble. And at this point, what do? You can't, the only thing you can do is put in Winston and hope he can actually like look at a defense and know where to go with the ball in a set amount of time. Deshaun holds the ball so long and he used to get away with it because he could just run around. Well, he can't do that anymore. Even if he does run around, he's not accurate with the ball most of the time anymore. And so all you can do now is you put Jameis out there. Yes, the line's not going to be blocking much better, but they won't have to block as long. Okay. And if they're going to blitz, maybe Jameis will recognize it and get us into a play and we'll burn the blitz a couple times. And now like they can't blitz us 50,000 times every single game when we're on offense because we've burned them a couple times. It's just, it's bad. It's bad. And I said it yesterday. I just fear that we're just a bad offensive football team. And I don't know if there's a way to change it in the season. You're in the season right now.
Yeah. I watching that game yesterday, I know you were there, Justin.
Sure. Yeah.
Watching it at home though, I just like what the fuck is going on right now? I think I saw people posting this too on like Twitter. Like we were gaslit all summer about this offense from this team. Like, and it's not just, it wasn't even just the coaches and stuff. It was the players like Njoku, like, hey, what's the offense going to look? Oh, it's going to be juicy. Oh, it's going to be all touchdowns, lots of touchdowns. There's no freaking touchdowns to go around. We struggle to score any points. We haven't sniffed 20 yet. This is supposed to be some high-flying, high production offense, and we're going to score all these points and all this bullshit. It's not happening. It's not there. I know, like, I kept trying to think about this yesterday. I was like, okay, last year we kind of overreacted to that week 2 loss in Pittsburgh because things just kind of deteriorated. Yeah, we didn't play all that great. Yeah. But we still controlled the ball. We still moved it. We still picked up first downs. We scored. We were winning into the fourth quarter of that game. You know, it was a strip sack on a Jed Wills. Of course, it was Jed Wills, blown pass rush and everything. Whatever. We lost the game, but we kind of freaked out about it. This feels totally different because this is our starting unit. From the gate, looks inept.
Yes, there's a difference between that, whereas like, okay, especially because we look so good in week one, then we come out and you lose Chubb in the way you did, and it's deflating.
Yes.
And
it was more situational.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we bounced right back.
Yes.
And we still look like a good football
That's the thing.
team.
Yes, we came right out against Tennessee the next week and beat the shit out of them.
And it was like, okay, we're still a good football team. You're going to have some. We don't look like it doesn't look like there's a good football team in there hiding somewhere just waiting. We look like a bad football team. And what really scares me, and the one caller mentioned he's been a big Stefanski fan. I don't think we've been three of the biggest Stefanski guys, but we look like a poorly coached football team.
Yeah. What? So
we look poorly coached. Mm-hmm. We were number 2 in the league in penalties last year, and I put a lot of that on the fact we had so many third and fourth string guys and practice squad guys playing, and guys never getting to practice together because we were just elevating people off practice squads midweek. Like we're number 1 this year in the league in penalties. So it's like, oh, maybe it wasn't that. We're just not disciplined. And so a thing that I thought that was a strength and that I've had a ton of confidence in this team is the head coach. And now I'm even worried, like, we look poorly coached. We look unprepared. We don't look like we're ready to go.
Nothing screamed that to me. I mean, it's going all over social media, of course. When the entire defense ran right past the penalty flag on that roughing the passer on Daniel Jones on the interception yesterday to go to the end zone to do the orchestrated celebration as the referee is announcing the penalty to bring it back and give them whatever 15 more yards. It's like, read the room, guys. I don't mind when these guys go out there and celebrate when, good things happen. Like, cool, get your mojo going. I have no problem with that. It's entertainment. Yeah. Don't be fucking stupid about it. Like, that, to me, that's undisciplined. Like, if I was Schwartz, I'd be like, I want you guys to celebrate, but why are you there's a penalty, clear penalty on the ground. Like, you telling me none of you guys saw that yellow flag? Like, come on.
I think that it sucks. And especially on that side of the ball, I think there's some major concerns. I think we're glossing over losing Callahan. I think that is going to be something. I know you don't agree with that, but I think that is way more important than people think. I'm not sure that just plugging Dickerson in was going to be the solution. As far as like the coaching thing, I feel like they've come out flat twice now at home. That was our strength last year. We came out at home. The players were hyped. The crowd was hyped. Everybody was ready to go. And for 2 home games now, we don't even look, like Blake said, we look unprepared. We've been out coached now multiple times by coaches that are on hot seats. These guys are been talked about being fired heading into this year. So for me, it's just like, God, that's my biggest concern is that I'm not saying we're losing the locker room, but I'm wondering now, like, do we just have a bunch of guys? You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
that's what I said.
Especially
on the
unit.
offensive side of the ball.
It was a team last year. They rallied. And this year, I wonder,
the way that game started, I mean, let's not gloss over the only awesome part of the game.
Couldn't have started better.
Right down the field on the kickoff, and we cause a fumble.
Yeah.
Immediately we get the ball. And then the only play we run on offense, boom, drop back, 24-yard touchdown pass to Cooper. Beautiful sideline catch on the end zone, gets both feet in, controls the ball, touchdown. It's like, holy shit, we're gonna roll these guys today. That defense should have come out, bam, 3 and out, offense gets the ball back. Let's go score. Let's stick it on these guys. I didn't feel any of that. I didn't feel any sense of urgency, any like hype from the team. Like, where's the fire? Like that, the start to that game should have had those guys flying through the roof. Yeah. And I feel like it just dwindled after that.
So the thing I want to push back on the Callahan thing. Yeah. Like Rob Venter says, the Titans and the Browns lead the league in sacks given up.
Sure.
What do they both have in common? Terrible quarterbacks.
Sure.
Yeah. Wait, let's put it this way. 8 sacks yesterday. I looked at PFF. They attributed 6 to the offensive line, 2 to Watson. So, offensive line was bad. Watson, again, I've never said that he is beyond criticism here. That was terrible.
Sure.
Terrible. Receivers, dropping passes. What the hell, guys? Like, again, just guys. Maybe we don't have as talented of players as we thought. Cedric Tillman's supposed to be like a guy this year. Come on, dude. You get hit in the chest with a football, you're pro. Make the catch.
It's tough because, I mean, he hasn't been targeted since 2017 when he was at Tennessee. So, and then all of a sudden the game's on the line and you're going to drill him in the chest on a, you know what I mean?
The botched handoff from Watson to Ford, like that, obviously Watson put that in a terrible spot, hit him right in the upper chest. Like they showed it on the broadcast replay. It was like, what the hell? You know, it's like all these, the mistakes are maddening.
That I had somebody say, like, I saw somebody on X say, yeah, the handoff's not perfect, but Jerome Ford's still a professional running back. But he's got to take that. And my pushback was, one of these guys was what, a second or third round? A fifth round running back making, league minimum or whatever, maybe $1 million a year. The other one had 5 draft picks given up for him and $230 million guaranteed. That guy can put it in his belly where he's supposed to put it. That handoff was all the way up on his left shoulder. And one thing,
if you've ever played running back, they teach you to, the box here to receive the handoff. Where's your upper hand?
Yeah.
It's supposed to go between your chest and your abdomen, not at your chest. Of course that's going to get fumbled.
As the running back, you're not looking at the ball.
No, you're looking
at the line. That way
which he struggles with enough.
Yes. So it's on the quarterback. It goes back to the quarterback. I'm not trying to beat a dead horse, but like, this is all stuff I said about our last quarterback, and people used to get on me about it. Everybody wanted to crown him this year. He's not very good yesterday, so I'm still going to hold out that I was right on that. But it goes back to the quarterback until you get in. And I said, at what point? I don't think you can trot this out for 17 games. You're at risk of losing the locker room. In terms of
in your job,
in your job, and you're at risk in terms of losing the locker room is if you continue to trot somebody out who is, he's statistically worse than even guys who don't start anymore. Since he's come to Cleveland, he's like 42nd. There's only 32 starting quarterbacks. If you keep trotting him out there and we keep being the worst offense in the league, the dude struggles to get to 150 yards passing most of the time. Like he gets it in garbage time. And there's always this talk about how he's much better in the second half of games and the fourth quarter he's so good. Part of that is because we're getting our asses kicked so bad the defenses aren't bringing pressure anymore. They've got, we're up. We did not come back because we started playing better. We started to come back because the Giants are up 2 scores in the fourth quarter. They're not going to be blitzing guys. They're not going to be bringing pressure. They're going to just sit back, make us dink and dunk it, not give up the big play, and protect their lead. And all of a sudden, we start to look a little bit better for 2 drives. It wasn't because of all of a sudden we figured it out. It's because we started playing a preseason type defense. And that's all we can go against, apparently. So, and it doesn't do any good to have great fourth quarter stats if quarters 1 through 2.5 and 3 are just abysmal and you're down by 2-3 scores every fourth quarter. But I lost my train of thought in terms of where I was going. What was I saying?
I don't know, but
there's just so much bad in my brain.
Actually, let me build off something you were saying there, though, was yesterday was the type of game where what happened last year on the road in Baltimore should have happened yesterday, where the first half was rough and the defense gave up some points, let the other team march down, score, all that kind of stuff. Second half, what happened last year? Defense came out, shut them down, forced turnovers. They scored. Yesterday, defense didn't give up a point in the second half.
Yeah, adjustments.
They made adjustments, and they came out, and because the defense didn't play very well in the first half. That second half was great. They gave the offense every opportunity in the world to go down there and score or take the lead, and we didn't do it. Like, the offense couldn't do it, and it's like, this is not the same. Like, this is not what we saw last year at all. We don't have it anywhere in there.
So going into halftime, I was like, I don't think they're going to make an adjustment on Neighbors. I think that they're literally just going to leave Ward on one side, Emerson on his own. So to see them actually make that adjustment, because I don't know if that's ever happened.
To be fair, the adjustment shouldn't have been too hard. So Martin Emerson, first of all, the PFF grades came out. Worst graded player on our defense by far, total bottom of the list. Targeted 5 times, gave up 4 catches for 50 yards and a touchdown. Malik Neighbors had 3 of his catches for 43 yards and a touchdown, and I think he only had 3 catches for 16 yards anywhere else.
Yeah,
against
it was
anyone
bad.
else.
No, it was bad. He was getting cooked
destroyed.
for sure. He had a very bad game.
I want to address some of the comments in here. I can't wait for our fan base to stop being so fucking negative. If that means Deshaun Watson got to go, then do it. It's constant bitching, even when we win, is so annoying. Yes,
agreed.
But we didn't win. Yeah. We lost horribly again to a team that we had no. I mean, we were all thinking this is a tune-up game. We were touchdown favorites at home. And then the same guy says, can't wait to switch out Watson. We'll still have the same issues. Blaming Watson alone is how we end up here. Pastor Rob says that it's not just on Watson. I never said it's just on Watson.
No, and
it's primarily, it can be more of one person. There can be multiple issues and still be more of this guy's fault. Because again, the reason we are running empty sets and 5 wide and in empty backfield, and why we're doing this is because of him. It was tailor made for him to succeed. So it goes back to him. He is supposed to be the guy. Yes, maybe we don't pass block as great as we need to on all the plays, but he can get rid of the ball. He can elude the pressure. He can make plays. Yeah, we don't run the ball as well, but he's explosive. He'll pick up first downs with his feet. He is supposed to be that guy. We built this offense around him. If we weren't going to do that, we could have just kept Baker and kept running play action boot and having a number one receiver who catches for 900 yards, and we score 27 points a game, and we look okay, but we're never like a dominant offense. But we went and got this guy, and Taylor made the offense for him, and he's not good enough to run it. So yes, all of your issues are going to then stem from that problem. Yes, we're not a great blocking line. This guy's supposed to help make up for some of that. He doesn't help make up for it. We look like dog shit. Yeah, we don't run the ball that well. This guy's supposed to be able to help with that. We're supposed to be able to run RPOs off of him. That way he can take off, or we can get, quick passes out on the perimeter of these guys. He's not good enough. He can't read a defense. We don't do that. We don't have any like top end speed guys on the outside, but Deshaun's going to run around, make plays, and he's going to make them look better. No, he doesn't. Okay. So yes, I'm not saying the line is great. I'm not saying our receivers are good. I'm saying the guy who's supposed to help with that we gave up a ransom for, that I was happy to give up, isn't living up to that billing, and it's making all the pieces around him crumble. And, some people are saying I think Pastor Rob said he's worried that it's coming from the guy at the top. I don't know if he meant Haslam or if he's talking about Stefanski. I'm going to be way more patient with the guy who has won Coach of the Year twice and taken us to the playoffs twice and has somewhat stabilized the worst culture in football for my entire life over the guy who, since he's been here, has done nothing for us.
Yeah.
So one of them's going to get a longer leash than the other.
Totally. But I mean, there's still a leash because like we started out saying earlier, this team looks like total shit, unprepared,
sure,
poorly coached, undisciplined.
Hurts to say
and that does go back to Stefanski, and he's not beyond criticism. I love Kevin too. I'm a big Kevin guy. I love that he got the extension. We all did. Like, we're all pumped about it. We have seen probably Kevin's worst times in Cleveland come when Baker was injured and when Deshaun plays. Is that fair?
I would say that's fair.
So I think I'm seeing some sort of common denominator, and we'll see how it plays out, but they have got to do something because, like you said, Blake, it's making everybody bad. I mean, we thought we had a future starting right tackle in DeJuan Jones. He looks like James Hudson out there. Like I see like some football coaches and stuff on Twitter saying like he just looks big, like he just looks too fat, too heavy, like he's got too much weight on him this year compared to last year. He can't move.
Yeah, and
they're talking. Who was it? Coach Matt Wilson on Twitter here. Some of the stuff he posts was interesting. He said, that Andy Dickerson, the new O-line coach, he's not detail oriented like Bill when it comes to pass protection. Most of their tackles are short setting for some reason, regardless of the pass rusher they're against. DeJuan only takes 2-ish kicks here before opening his hips and squaring. He should be taking 3 to 4 full strides before engaging with the defender. And he said that James Hudson has the same problem. It's much easier to recover as a bigger offensive lineman when you overset versus underset against the speed rusher. So basically, they've got these guys doing wrong techniques for their body types and everything. And it's just, you can tell nothing works. It looks terrible. And I even put in here in the notes about Jerome Ford. Like Jerome Ford's expected rush yards over average is actually positive. It's like 1.09 or something this year. It was like 9th best in the NFL. And he sucks. Like, he's not getting any yards. His yards per carry is like 3 something. I mean, he's not going anywhere, and yet he's still getting more than expected. That just shows you how bad the line is at everything right now.
Yeah. They're not playing well.
Nobody.
The offense, and what scares me is we heard reports out of camp that the offense didn't look well. They didn't look very good. It was not – no. The reports weren't good about the offense. And then in the preseason, we saw all of the issues. And then and it just translated into the regular season. I mean, are we going to ever get to 20 points? I'm worried that we're a 4-win football team because we're not going to score. We're not going to score on the Steelers.
I know. I was thinking about that too.
We're not going to score on the Ravens. We're going to struggle to score on the Bengals because they got a good pass rush. Trey Hendrickson will friggin' have 10 sacks.
I'm worried about Max Crosby next week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the offense is so bad that every game is going to be a dogfight unless they figure this out. And I just don't know how this figures out. Somebody said Deshaun's got to be Superman now. Tell me a team that won with a bad O-line and bad. Yes, he does. Yes, he has to be Superman. Yes. That is why he is here. Is it not? Am I crazy? Or did we not give up 6 draft picks and $230 million?
So just to play a little bit with what he said there, like, I could understand that. And we talked about even week 1 up there against Dallas. Like, oh, man, because people are like, oh, we need Flacco back. I'm like, dude, there ain't nobody playing quarterback behind this line right now. The pressure's intense. But then there's like Elijah Moore is wide open heading to the end zone yesterday in the zone. All Deshaun had to do was put the ball on him, and he probably scores. I doubt he gets tackled there. I'm sure momentum carries him into the end zone. Just sails it. Fucking sails it way over his head. It's like, where's this coming from now? Last year it was dirt balls. This year it's air balls. If it weren't for those types of plays, I'd give a little bit more like credit to the O-line problems. But man, it's like even whenever the throws are there and the plays that actually work, we miss them.
Well, and again, like I said, we had a quarterback who ran an explosive offense with this offensive line less than a year ago. Worse, Froholt was playing center. Was that last year?
That was
2 years ago. I mean, the offensive line was just as bad last year. It just looks worse because the quarterback is holding the ball forever. And we're not in any kind of sets to help because supposedly the quarterback isn't a play action, precision-based timing, getting to the back foot into his drop and letting go. That's not his game. So we had to build it around what his game was. So to say that no quarterback would look great behind this offensive line as is. But my argument is that if you put a quarterback back there that could read a defense pre-snap and would know where to go the ball in 2.5 seconds, the line wouldn't look as bad. That's what I'm saying.
I totally understand because he's given them all kinds of time to get there. And one thing that you made me think of there was, you know, if he's holding the ball this long, where's all the downfield passing plays? Because you got to think, like, obviously a quarterback has to hold the ball a little longer for downfield plays to open up and develop and all that kind of stuff. But we still have none of that, even despite the long time to throw. I mean, plays of 20-plus yards yesterday, we only threw 4. We completed 2 for 47 yards. One of them was that first play for the touchdown. After that, only 1 play over 20 the rest of the game. From 10 to 19 yards, this was like, to me, like, holy shit. 1 of 5 for 12 yards on the game in the intermediate range. No wonder we can't move the ball anywhere. All of our throws between 0 and 9 yards, so less than 10 yards, 15 of 19 for 98 yards and a touchdown. Excellent. Great. We have nothing downfield. Nothing. Which, for as long as the ball is being held, just blows my mind.